firstly, thank you for coming here. This is the beginning of a different journey. You know, Ranbir, I think if you had asked me even about a year and a half back or a year back if I was going to write a book, I would have said flat no. It just wasn't in my mind at all. But I think ever since I sort of moved out of media and entertainment, and I think I'm a doer and not just a dreamer in that sense, and I think it's a mixture of both. I kind of looked at the entrepreneurial ecosystem in this country, and I see the change here. And I just felt that I needed to share my last 20 years of learning, experiences, lots of failures, few successes, but overall to inspire a nation or inspire people to feel that entrepreneurship is something. So this book that I've written, I think, is as much for the person who's sitting on the fence, having graduated and figuring out whether I should be a professional or whether I should start my own business. But it's as much somebody who's been in a business for 10 years and wants to now look at scaling it up. It's as much for the professional who wants to lead his company, because I think there's a lot of learning lessons there. And I think it's also for the professional at 29 or 39 who feels, if I don't do it now, when will I do it? So it's a mixture of all of that. And I think the fun has been writing it, and I think you should at some stage try that yourself. But I think the fun has been writing it, and writing it very simply. And I hope that this kind of a book actually opens up a whole new genre of book writing in India.
Thank you so much, sir, for championing the cause of entrepreneurship in this country. And it's really an honor and a privilege to launch the cover of your book, which releases on 2nd April 2015. Let's read some quotes of some people who've read the book and who have actually interacted with you. The first one is from Nandan Nilekani.
Yes.
He's the co-founder of Infosys and former chairman, Unique Identification Authority of India. He says, "There is no one better than Ronnie Screwvala to write on entrepreneurship. This book, based on intense personal experience and packed with anecdotes, is a great primer for those wanting to take the plunge, innovate, or take their firms to scale. This is just the book we need for inspiring a startup nation." There's a quote by Bob Iger, chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company. "A true entrepreneur, Ronnie Screwvala took a startup to a global scale by partnering with the Walt Disney Company. He has the qualities, I believe, necessary for great leadership, embodying the spirit of curiosity and optimism, taking smart chances and pursuing excellence always." And the last one by Anand Mahindra, chairman of Mahindra Group. "Good entrepreneurs experience personal success. Great entrepreneurs multiply the success and help others rise along with them. Ronnie is a great entrepreneur." And I completely agree with that.
Thank you. They've all been very kind, and thank you.
Ronnie, sir, I have a few questions, if you don't mind, and if the media doesn't mind, I would like to ask you. First being that you don't come from a business family. Did you always dream of being an entrepreneur? Is it something one is born with? Is it the opportunities that came your way? What's the journey been so far?
You know, I grew up for the first 17 years in Grant Road, and I think the first chapter in my book is from Grant Road to Breach Candy. And I think those were the formative years of my life. It also teaches you some sort of very strong values. But I think one of my first failures, first real failures, was I was in cathedral school. I sort of graduated with flying colors, and I was overconfident. I went into college, and in the second year, I failed. And at that stage, it could have been a disaster, because here I was, I thought I let my family down. And those 6 months to 1 year, when all your friends move on in life, and you have failed, and you're regrouping and trying to do what you're supposed to have done all your life, because everyone told you were a brilliant student, gave me the time to introspect of what I wanted to do in life. And I think that was, I would say, the first time when I felt entrepreneurship and doing something on my own was what I wanted to do. And those were not early, but those are not easy days. Nobody was funding anybody. There wasn't an entrepreneurial ecosystem. So I think it was a tough time at that stage. It was also a time when my dad was absolutely determined that I should do my chartered accountancy. So that's how it started. But I think it was around that time when one decided I want to do something of my own. And other than the 2 years where I kind of handed over and did the Walt Disney Company and UTV combined, I think that's what I've been doing for the last 25 years.
You have done some of the most unthinkable things in the past, from pioneering cable TV in India to building the largest media and entertainment company. How did you do it, and what was your drive?
Well, that would take a whole book, right? At the end of the day, if you want to answer those kind of questions. But you know, I think at the core of a couple of things that I believe, one of my favorite phrases is from Patton, General Patton, who says all glory is fleeting. And I think that is something that I've sort of resonated with me from the early days when I saw the movie Pattern. And it sort of struck with me that it's actually true. And I can't tell you that in the media industry, it's even more truer than most, because you're as good as your last big hit, you're as good as your last success, and then you could be history tomorrow. So all glory is fleeting. If you stay with that moment, you kind of stay curious all the time. And I think the second one is really the ability for you to just stay at it and stay at it and stay the course. And I know a lot of people think, oh, but you came in there and then you exited this and then you sold this to somebody. But I'm saying I don't think there have been that many people who've stayed in an overall media and entertainment business for 25 years and still survive. So I think that is the base of mine. And I think the only reason one did is that I took every failure as a comma and not a full stop. And I think that's been some of my learnings.
Ronnie, I also must add my experience with you. I remember that we've done a bunch of movies, Rajniti, Wake Up Sid, Barfi. So I've been interacting with you from the beginning of my career. And I think one really admired trait of yours, which I can never forget, is that people with experience, they don't really impart their knowledge. They don't really share with you. They don't really advise. And I think the kind of advice that you've given me from the beginning of my career to now has really been very valuable to me. And thank you so much for that. And I'm sure that all of us, when we read the book, when we see this book, I think we can get inspired by a brilliant journey that you've had so far in the film industry and the television and the media industry.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
We would now like to open the floor for questions.
I think about 9 months from the time I sort of decided that.
So basically like making a baby.
Yeah, all on my own kind of thing, but yeah. 9 months would be.
How did you go about it? You had to meet people?
Well, I think I have to say that I felt I needed a co-writer. I'm not an author by nature. I don't think I'm going to be an author in life. So I got a co-writer. And I got someone actually from the US, because I think part of my media experiences teaches me that they give you a phenomenal structure to everything that you want to think and do. And I think he set me up well to give me a structure for the book and a sort of ease and flow of language. And then it was more up and down. We'd spend Friday evenings, Saturday evenings on the phone, long distance. I got him to come in here and share 4 or 5 days with me, everything that I had to sort of cathartically talk about, and then go back and meet almost 50 to 100 entrepreneurs here. And then it was pretty much every Saturday and Sunday for a fair period of time.
Yeah, good afternoon to all.
Sorry.
Ronnie here.
Yeah.
I have to ask you that. What has inspired you to write this book?
I think singularly, I think I wanted to share my learning experiences. I found in the last many years 2 things. One, in India, most people feel that entrepreneurship is always a plan B, and that first, only if you haven't got a great job, should you be starting to go on your own. And it's almost to that extent where people feel, from a society point of view, that, oh, okay, you started something on your own, which means you didn't get a really good job. And the second one, I think, in India, which we have a big problem on, is an acute fear of failure. And I think failure needs to be evangelized. Failure needs to be celebrated. From that, you learn and you move forward. Failure is not the end of everything. And I think these 2 things resonated with me a lot with the people I was working with the people then I sort of mentored and did work with afterwards, that I felt if I don't share some of my thought processes, and I've had, I would say, more failures than successes, in a total package it may look like a forward journey. And if people start doing that, then I think something can resonate better. So that was my inspiration.
Do I feel failure? Of course. I think feeling failure is very important. You said, do I feel failure?
Fear
of failure, of course. I do fear failure. I'm a little detached to success and failure, so I don't think I will bog myself down because being an actor, if your film fails, you're already working on a project, so that cannot come on your other project. You have to still approach it afresh and with a positive mind. But yes, you fear failure in so many things, in your relationships, with your parents, with your spouses, with your friends, your day-to-day failures of achieving something that you've set out to. So I think it's very important to fear failure, because if you do that, then I think you're more conscious. I think you work harder. The intention to become better in life is very important. Writing a book, I think I was just having a conversation with someone to write my experiences. I don't think I've experienced life enough right now, to write a book on it. But I do have a long life, I hope so. So maybe, once I achieve even like 50% of what Ronnie sir has achieved, maybe then I can think of writing a book.
I think Ranbir's book will be called Stay Humble, Stay Smart.
No.
अच्छा रणबीर, वन क्वेश्चन, खुली आंखों से सपना देखने पर आप कितना यकीन रखते हैं?
हाँ जी,
खुली आंखों से सपना देखने पर आप कितना यकीन रखते हैं?
आई थिंक बहुत ज़रूरी होता है. अगर आप सपने नहीं देखेंगे तो वो साकार कैसे होंगे? हाउ विल यू अचीव इफ़ यू डोंट ड्रीम? आंखें खुली हो या बंद हो, दैट डजंट मैटर एज लॉन्ग एज यू ड्रीम. आई थिंक दैट्स द बिगिनिंग ऑफ समथिंग extremely extraordinary that you can achieve in life.
हेलो सर, मेरा
Yeah.
नाम रोशन है,
जी.
लिविंग इंडिया न्यूज़ से.
जी.
अच्छे लेखक या कवि बनने के लिए क्या गुण होना चाहिए सर?
वो मुझे सोच करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि actually I don't think I'm that yet, but I think I've said what I needed to say in a very simplistic manner. The 50 people who I kind of used as a focus group to read the book and give me feedback, the first thing they said, it sounded like I'm sitting across the table with you and having a conversation, and I think that's the simplicity of the book. So I think I've done it in what I would say, I've put it down into a book, and I've not really structured it. It's not a 10 cheez karo to ye ho sakte hai, ya 5 secrets of this. I think it's just, it's to inspire. Yeah. Sure, go ahead. So, yeah, I mean, and I actually want to say that when you said dream, whether it's with your eyes closed, not to Ranbir, that actually the creative team of my co-writer and his wife were sitting down, and he was challenging me always, and he says, yeah, but all of us keep saying, if you can dream something, you can make it. And my first reaction was, yes, but you got to have your feet on the ground, and you need to have your eyes open at all times. So he wrote that down and said, maybe we have a title here. And because that's what I meant. But of course you need to dream, but you need to be practical. And in the 21st century, I don't think it's more appropriate than ever before.
Hi Ronnie, this is Lokesh Shastri.
I think there was a lady there who wanted to ask.
Yeah.
And I'll just come back to you in a second.
Okay, fine.
Hi, Ranbir. Yeah. Manisha from Dainik Bhaskar. Just wanted to know that have you ever thought of penning down your life and in a book, and which part would you want to highlight?
No, I have not thought about it at all. I think, like I said, I have miles to go before I can even think of something like that. But if I had to, if you put a gun to my head and asked me to, write something about my life which has been very impactful, I think it would be the time that I assisted Mr. Bansali on Black as an assistant director, because I think that was the time that I really switched from just being an aimless slacker boy to somebody who wants to do something in his life relating the films. I think he was a great mentor, he was a great teacher, Mr. Bansali, and to write something about that would be interesting, I think.
So hi, Ranbir, Abhishek this side.
Hi, Abhishek.
Ranbir, so what is it that you've dreamt with your eyes open and it's come true?
To be honest, I never remember my dreams when I sleep at night. So that's a good thing. So I guess this title makes sense. So all the dreams I've had are with my eyes open. I think just to, become an actor, to make a name of my own, to make my parents proud. I think that was important to me, to have an individual appeal to me. I come from a film family. There are so many links that I have and all of that. But I think it was very important for me to stand on my own feet and for people to recognize me for my own individual work.
Right. Also, a while back, Ronnie just said that you are someone who's humble and also smart at the same time. So keeping the smartness alive, what would be your expectations from the budget, because it's on right now? So since we're meeting you after a long time, so what would be your expectations from the budget?
Great question that how aap ghuma phira ke yahan aaye ho. But I think just the fact that it has been promised that each house will have water, electricity, and one earning member by 2022. I think that itself is tremendous, and I truly believe that we can achieve that in this country. And if that happens, I think we'll just take 10 steps forward, I guess.
ऑल्सो आप दोनों से ये सवाल है कि बजट में सर्विस टैक्स बढ़ा दिया गया, जिससे टिकट रेट्स, मूवी टिकट रेट्स जो हैं वो बढ़ जाएंगे. सो किस तरीके से आप लोग ये देख रहे हैं? एंड सेकेंडली, फॉर कॉमन मैन देयर इज नथिंग, कुछ भी उनके लिए खास नहीं है इस बजट में.
Yeah, well, look, I can go. Firstly, the budget, I think Perchap is not finished, just about finished his speech, and then we want comments on the thought process. I think a budget is supposed to give a statement of growth and a statement of forward-looking aspects, a statement of the government's priority, and then you can't psychoanalyze everything else in between, because then you got to read the fine print after that. I think indirect taxes, if there is a levy on indirect taxes, he's actually talked about reducing corporate tax over the next 4 years down. So I think tax has got a pretty balanced view when you look at everything from that perspective. I don't think the media industry gets distracted, because actually entertainment tax comes above service tax. So we already have a problem of double taxation with entertainment tax and service tax, which needs to be dealt with separately. So it's not going to be such a needle-moving element as far as that is concerned. But I think that may not be the most appropriate topic for today. So unless Ranbir has anything to add, I'll just ask him.
I shall just agree with him.
Ranbir, लेकिन इस
Take
साल
next question.
Yeah, go ahead. You were asking the question.
Ronnie, first of all, let me congratulate you on your embarkation of the journey of sharing your dreams with the entrepreneurs and inspiring them. There'll be a lot of entrepreneurs who probably will read your book and you will not even know about it, and they'll get inspired and do something entrepreneurship and be success in life. Are you also supporting any entrepreneur or a group of entrepreneurs in real life by doing something additional to them apart from the book?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and I think it's in three parts really. One, personally, one is invested in many companies which are all entrepreneurial and at different stages of their growth, and I think that mentoring continues because that's a very day-to-day interactive process. I think my ability to go out and have some time to spend and talk with people in groups of 100, 200, and 400, I've been doing that on a much more regular basis across the country, and I aim to do that even more. And third, but the one that I'm most proud of, is actually through our Surveys Foundation, and I know we're working on multiple aspects there, but over the last 1 year, we have now literally created 10,000 entrepreneurs in our geography.
Wow.
We've set them up to form chilling plants for dairy, because within 9 kilometers radius of anyone who owns cows, you need to get the milk in 3.5 hours to a chilling plant, otherwise it goes bad, and therefore most people never even thought of that. We've got people who are collecting cashews from the entire geography and then repackaging it instead of selling it in bulk. We've got people at the sort of minority communities that we made into entrepreneurs and set up agarbatti plantations for them, packaging firms for them, and in poultry. So I think those 10,000 farmers and the 10,000 entrepreneurs that we've created has given me more joy in the last 1.5 years, and also been a sort of a trigger for the book to a smaller extent.
Hi, I have a question for Ranbir. We're speaking about entrepreneurship. At a time when Ronnie probably started out on his journey, the economic conditions of this country were very different. But today's youth is actually setting out on entrepreneurial ventures rather than working for someone else. So what's your take on, is the government really doing enough to foster entrepreneurship in this country? As a young generation representative, what's your view on that?
To be honest, I wouldn't have a fair answer to that, because I don't come from the world of entrepreneurship. But I think more than the government, as far as I know, I think Mr. Ronnie Screwvala is definitely doing something, through his book, through mentoring people. And I think that's what we really need is, to give them a little bit of, a hand, to give them a little bit of an advice, to give them a little bit of show them the light, show them the way. I think that's what's important. I don't think there's anything wrong in starting a business or working for someone. As long as the intention is right, as long as, you have a dream, as long as you have a certain vision of life for yourself. Yeah, you want to add something to that?
I do want to add, if you take one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world, which I think is America, outside of Israel, which I think is a very, very entrepreneurial country, but it's so small that everyone doesn't think so. No government went out there and did anything to help. Look at our IT sector here. That's the best example of entrepreneurship and how it's grown, because it was not regulated. People were allowed to work for and be extremely entrepreneurial. So I think a government's job is to enable, and a government's job, and I think that's the right demand that everyone's making, is to make ease of business in the country to happen, which I think we're moving in that direction. And the problem is that if you go from 400 regulations to 100 regulations, it still looks like 99 more than what you like them to be. So till they get to 1 and 2 and 3 regulations, you'll always feel there's going to be not the ease of doing business. But I believe the government is to facilitate and mandate, not create entrepreneurs.
Sorry, I just had a follow-up question. Ranbir, any young entrepreneurs that you admire that you could...
I think Ronnie is really young. So he's someone who I've always admired. Apart from him, You know, I have a couple of friends. You know, I don't think you would know them. There's a gentleman called Ishan Kapoor. He's somebody who I completely admire. But I think, to be honest, not because I'm sitting on this dais, you know, releasing the cover of this book, but he's really a man who I've admired. You know, not just for his entrepreneurial geniusness, but also for the kind of human being he is. You know, also for the kind of energy that he is. I think he's been really inspirational to me and to a lot of people from the film industry. He's definitely one of the most liked person who is or who was from the film industry. He's somewhere, and I think the day he had, you know, moved out from UTV and, you know, Walt Disney came, and I think that was a sad day for a lot of people in the film industry. So he's definitely someone who I admire.
Thank you.
We're going to take our last two questions.
Hi, you have.
Hello.
1 second.
Yeah, it's okay.
इस साल बॉम्बे वेलवेट रिलीज हो जाए वही बड़ी बात होगी. I think वो एक सपना अनुराग का था, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to on 15th of May.
Ronnie?
Yeah.
Ranbir,
Ronnie?
Yeah, somebody's got a
Ronnie?
mic. Yeah, somebody's got a
Ronnie?
become producer.
Ronnie?
You're a great actor.
Sorry,
And
Someone just randomly saying Ronnie.
Ranbir, here.
One second,
you have
the
become
lady's got a mic, so ask the question, and then I think there was somebody else who was going to...
It was
Yeah.
me also. You have become a producer. You're a great actor. Your career is growing well. So when do we see you getting married?
Wow, कहाँ से कहाँ producer से ये.
I thought you were going to ask us when you're becoming a full-fledged entrepreneur.
Yes, you know, I would like to answer the first part of the question first. Being a producer was not something I had planned. Anurag Basu, me, had made a film called Barfi, and we really enjoyed working together. So we decided, you know, to work on a film together, which was Jaga Jasoos. And also I must add that even though the Ronnie sir is not with, you know, the Walt Disney Company, but I made sure that, you know, there is something of him in, you know, where we're doing our first venture together. I think that was important to us. We're not producing, we're not here just for the business aspect of movie making. We are producing it because we believe in this. We don't know if this film is going to do well or not, but I think the intentions towards making a film was correct. I think those were the reasons that we produced the film. Second part of your question is, when will I get married? I haven't decided. I think marriage is something which I've always maintained has to come organically and naturally. I'm not that kind of a person who says, okay, I'm 32 years of age, let's get married now, or, you know, time's running out. I think I'm really happy in my life right now. And the day I want children, the day I feel me and my partner feel that, okay, this is an organic process, now we should, you know, get married, I think that's the day I'll get married.
Ronnie,
Ronnie,
I am your...
Just 1 second, let's do one question. No, he's going to ask a question.
In
Sorry,
this
go ahead.
lovely audience, I am your witness. You started your career with a small studio at Vithaldas Chamber, long back.
Yes.
Time you was Rohington, not Roy.
My dad and mom still call me Rohington.
So, who is your inspired and what is your future program?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Who inspires you? And
Who
what's your
inspires
Well, you know, I think I've been asked this before, and I have to say, and I mean that very, very sort of not in any this thing, that I think today it's not about drawing single inspirations. And in my life, I have to be very blunt. I don't think any one particular person ever inspired me, but at various stages in the career, various situations and circumstances inspired me from time to time, and I think I've dealt with them in the book. My second innings, I have to say, is very different from my first innings. I'm doing a lot and committed to entrepreneurship. I'm committed to the rural and social through our foundation. And in some of the businesses, and a lot of people ask me from media, you're looking at education, you're looking at sports, you're looking at digital. Those are all varied aspects. So that's for a different day and a different discussion. I don't think that's the topic for today.
We'll be taking the last question.
हाय रणबीर यहाँ पे
Ranbir.
बहुत हैंडसम लगता है रणबीर चेहरे पे बहुत फ्रेशनेस फील आ रही है मुझे लगता है प्यार का एक असर है साथ ही साथ आपकी फिल्मों का असर है रणबीर
कब इम्प्रूव करोगे यार ये एक्चुअली ये जो मैंने चश्मे डाले इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मेरे आंखों का नंबर कुछ बढ़ गया है क्योंकि मैं रात को इतनी ज़्यादा सोया नहीं हूँ तो इसलिए मैं अपने डार्क सर्कल्स कवर करके ये चश्मे पहन रहा हूँ मुझे पता है आपका सवाल कुछ और था लेकिन मेरा जवाब कुछ और है
रणबीर अभी AIB आया था रणबीर अभी AIB शो आया था उसमें आपका रिएक्शन जानना चाहेंगे रणबीर अभी AIB शो आया था आपका रिएक्शन जानना चाहेंगे
प्लीज विल यू अलाउ मी टू आस्क, देखिए आपने बोला कि आपने अभी तक डिसाइड नहीं किया आप शादी कब करेंगे, बट कटरीना कहीं ना कहीं कपूर सर ने यूज करी और उन्होंने व्हाट्सएप पे ग्रुप भी बनाया है और जिसमें आपकी फैमिली है।
Thank you so much. Book releases on 2nd April.
प्लीज जवाब दीजिए।
Buy the book when it releases.
प्लीज आंसर दिस एंड आप
We'll do a photo.
Yeah. We'll get out. Yeah.
We'd like to now have.
Yeah. Where are you doing? Where is here? Thank you.